Hello everyone, welcome to part 17 of this series. Today we're setting up our first quest in combination with dialogue. I've covered both briefly before, but this time we're using them together in a logical way. Before we start, I would like to thank all of my Patreon supporters for the amazing support. This scene will be made available on Patreon. So before we start setting this up, I did want to demonstrate what we're actually going to do in this video. But before we do that, I do want to point out that as you might have noticed right now in our videos, there are ads. And that's because I did reach 1,000 subs. So right now I will have the option to, get something from YouTube for my videos. I will make a ad-free version available for all my second tier Patreons. So everyone on Patreon that is supporting me in the second tier will be able to watch all of these videos ad-free. So now that that's out of the way, let's get back to our scene. So we have a person sitting here at the campfire, and once we approach her, it will start the quest. So hello, how can I help you? So then we have a choice. Do we want to help her? Yes, no. So yeah, sure. And as you can see in the upper right corner, it will start the quest. Now if I open up my journal here, help the stranger, the quest is in here and you can track it as well. So that's pretty cool. So let's, find those apples. I didn't make it hard, as you can see, they're really close. And before I complete this, I'm actually going to walk back to her and she'll just tell us keep looking. And as you can see, the camera doesn't change. It's quite an organic message. We'll pick up the other apples. Where did I put that last one? I can't remember why I put that last apple. Where is it? Ah, there we go. So we have an apple, so pick up, and we'll go back to the stranger. And now the message changes, thank you, and mission will be completed. So yeah, pretty cool. And as you can see, this is not intrusive whatsoever. It's, looks quite organic. Now if we go back to her, we have completed the quest. She will actually tell us something else. Hello, that will be all for now. And it will just autoplay and that's it. So I personally do prefer this than actually having an input and having to press a button to talk to someone, as we're in the wild open here and she's pretty much the only person here. So it kind of does make sense. It's not intrusive in any way because it's not stopping our gameplay. It's not, halting or changing anything. And I think it's a nice touch doing this the organic way. So yeah, now that I've demonstrated this, let's set up our scene. So we're back in our default project and we're continuing where we left off last time. So I'm going to pick a spot. This one actually seems alright, a slightly different spot than last time, where we will put our stranger. So going to place a campfire. So this was in the Fantastic Village pack, which was part of the fantasy bundle. Oh, but apparently it doesn't really work all that well. Well, that's fine. I'll just use the Cinti one, which was in the Polygon Knights one, which was also part of the fantasy bundle. So we have two different ones. What's the difference here? Not really sure. I'll just pick this one. So I'll drag it down just a bit. Maybe I should change the angle a bit, but it's fine. It's not really all that important. Then I'm going to pick up a fire, so I'm just going to use a small one, and I'm going to, make it a child That way the positioning is right away pretty good actually. I'm even going to keep it like that. I'm going to drag this into props just to make sure, you know, we keep the hierarchy a bit clean. And I still have that from last time. Let me remove that. So yeah, looks pretty decent. I mean, I probably should change the angle just a tiny bit. Let me do that. There we go. It's slightly better. Still not perfect, but that's fine. So next up, I'm going to add a character. So right click, character, and I'm going to name her Mystery Woman. And let's pick a character for this. So I'm going to use the fancy characters that was in the bundle, prefab, and I think it was a druid. Yeah, it's a druid. We can also pick, you know, gypsy instead. It doesn't really matter. Whatever character you want is completely up to you. So I'll pick the druid again. I did like the character. And obviously she's not in our scene. So there we go. Let's rotate her a bit. And yeah, cool. So I'm going to give her a trigger on start. So on start, her state will be different. So we're going to set a state here. And we're going to choose character default state, invoker, and it's going to be the meditate. If you don't have the meditate, make sure you have all of the examples from Game Creator installed. It's part of that. So cool. We'll put her here. Seems about right. I think. I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter all that much. Then next up, she's going to have a sphere. There we go. And that's going to be 3 by 3. Let's turn on gizmos. And this will be her trigger area. Now, as you can see, this is pretty small, so that's why I personally do really like, you know, having the character actually being in the, you know, it being a dynamic pickup instead of pressing a button. But again, you don't have to. But it's I think that's pretty nice. And with a trigger like this, I mean, it's not really going to be in the way ever, and I think it will feel a bit more organic. So let's call this quest start trigger. So pretty simple. We're going to turn on is trigger, and we're going to remove the mesh renderer. Now that's the reason I add an actual sphere, by the way, instead of just, you know, creating a collider, is because it's slightly easier to see the placement in the world. So it's a little trick I often use. So let's add a trigger component, and this is going to be a on player enter, and it's going to be a really simple action actually. So nothing all that special. And we'll set that up, but before we continue all of this, we're going to set up our actual quest, because our dialogue will use, well, we'll use pretty much everything we do in the quest. So we do need the quest to be set up first. So let's go to preferences. I already have a quest here. I'm going to create a new one. And you should have the first one as well if you have the examples installed. And again, I would really recommend always doing that. It actually teaches you a lot about the modules. Now, if we right click on the title here, you can change the name. So help mystery woman And you can do spaces, that's completely fine. It will automatically make sure the naming is right. And then we're going to add our first objective as part of the quest. So this is always just a overall quest if you want. So this is the overall quest, this is the objective. So help mystery woman, so that's going to be a a pretty straightforward one really. So what we're going to do, let's press edit, general, help the stranger. We're keeping that inactive, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for this part. Then on complete, and I'm already setting it up straight away just to be sure. So the uncomplete will be for the general quest, so for basically completing the entire quest. It's quite important to note that. So I'm going to add a 3-second wait, and we're going to do a instantiate case closed, which is a default prefab from the examples, which is really nice. I mean, you can quickly, let's actually quickly change the text of this. So case closed, let's drag this down. Where is the text? There we go. And we're just going to do mission completed. And fine, that's it's a small change, but yeah, makes a bit more sense because it's not really a case. So mission completed, and we're good. So we have that set up, and yeah, that's it really. This will automatically disappear, so we're good there. Then we're going to set up our first actual objective, and let's actually add some text. So help it's a bit of a strange title. I mean, I didn't really know what to do. Like, why are we doing this quest? God knows why. But yeah, a couple of options here is hidden, and I'll explain this one in a bit, and can be abandoned. So can be abandoned, I'm going to toggle that off because this will be a starter quest. But imagine side quests that are not necessary, you could abandon them. So, and enable translation, speaks for itself. You can set conditions, so if this would be a follow-up quest, you could literally set the condition that the previous quest needs to be completed. So the way you do this is quest status, quest, and then for example, murder at the table needs to be completed, and that's the condition before you could even start this if you wanted. Now we're not going to do that, because this is our first quest. But yeah, that's an option. So I'm not doing on fail either because we're not going to fail. This is a mandatory quest, so we can't fail it. But again, on fail would be useful for secondary quests, side quests, whatever you want to call them. Or if you want to, actually have main quest implications by failing a quest that would, drastically change the story. I mean, that could be cool as well, I guess. So next up is our first actual objective, which will be find apples. Really exciting, Find apples is going to be the first actual objective. Look for apples in the area. And the progress type, it can be single, so that's basically, completed, yes or no. Really simple. Or it can be incremental, and incremental means you have to do several things for this. So I want to find apples, plural, so we're going to find 3 apples. So you need a progress of 3. So yeah, pretty straightforward so far. So on complete, so if we complete this part, we're going to go to our something else, and we'll have to still set that up. So let's first change his name to Find Apples. There we go. Then we're going to add a task as a child of this task, and that's quite important. So Find Apple. Now the description here is completely irrelevant. It really does not matter whatsoever, and the reason for that is because we're not going to show this. So we're going to do is hidden, and basically in the taskbar you'll see 0 of 3 by default because we chose incremental to 3, and we're going to hide these sub points basically, because just having 3 tasks saying find apple, find apple, find apple, I mean, there's literally no value in that whatsoever. So that's what we're going to do. And on complete again, so let's go to quests, and we have quest progress. So let's drag in our, there we go, find apples, and our progress will be 1. So we're going to add 1, and that will be 1 of 3. That's it. Then let's rename this to Find Apple, and basically we'll need to, make the same one, Find Apple and Find Apple. Now make sure you select the parent in order to create this, and yeah, we'll need to do the same thing all over. So I could have copied that action actually. So let's go to quest progress, do the same thing again, add value of 1. So this time I am going to copy this though. We'll make it a bit easier. Is hidden as well, again quite important. Find apple, and there we go. Then we're going to add a completion task, so finish quest, and that's the one we're going to refer to. So if we complete the find apples, so we found all 3 apples, what are we going to do? So we're going to activate the finish quest. So quest status, and this will be active, and I'm going to finish quest is going to be active. Now the reason we're adding this step is because we are actually going to have a last conversation with our mystery woman, and that's why we need to have this this task basically. So finish quest, and that's going to be a rather simple one. So this is if we've done everything. So talk to the stranger, you've found all apples, talk to, there we go. By default inactive, of course, that's quite important. And then this will be another quest status, then it will be the entire quest is going to be complete if we finish this. So on complete, it will complete the entire quest, which means it will complete this and spawn our UI element saying mission completed. So I hope I didn't miss anything here, but you know, in case I did, we'll find out. You can always make changes. So yeah, we're good there. So let's actually start by setting up the next step, and the next step is basically going to be our dialogue. And dialogue is going to use the quest statuses as variables basically. And let's do that. So I'm not sure if we can actually do dialogue like this. Yeah, we can. That's perfect. So this will be the dialogue for a quest. I'm not going to give it a different name. Don't really see a point. And we're going to start off with our, well, basically the lost message. So I'll explain why as well. So hello, Wanderer. That will be all for now. So the reason I'm doing this last first is because, you know, basically this is a hierarchy. And if everything is done in the conversation, what do you want her to say? And this is the conversation that triggers if we, you know, run into her after the quest. Well, not run into her, if we walk to her after the quest. And this is what it will say. So that's the reason why we're doing that first, because this needs to be, you know, top of the hierarchy. Now you will see a couple of things here, which are actors and voices. So you can, you know, add a voice clip if you want, you know, up to you. I'm going to do autoplay. I don't want this to be some interruption where you need to click again to continue. You know, this should just happen in the background basically. So that's why we're using autoplay. 3 seconds is long enough, but it's not too, you know, too short either. So it's a good balance. And after run, it exits because there will not be a further conversation here. So now the condition here is going to be related to our quest status. So we're going to do a quest status, press quest, it will open it up, and help mystery woman is complete. So if the entire quest is complete, this will trigger. If that quest is not complete, it will skip this step and go to the next one. And that's why we're doing it in this order. Now before we continue doing that, I'm going to go to actor, and I'm just going to select a default here, or let's do Juliet. That's one of the default in the examples, just so we go to the right location and we can create a new one. So I'm going to right click, game creator, dialogue, and actor. So I'm doing mystery woman again, but this one without a space. I mean, yeah. Mystery woman. I'm going to keep the text white. I'm not really big fan of, you know, different colors. We already have a name. I don't need different colors for different people. I find it a bit, you know, intrusive in UIs, but that's up to me. You know, that's up to you. This list here basically is for sprites. So if you check one of the examples, you will see a sprite option here. So if you created some sprites for the conversation, definitely add them. So, you know, literally just, you know, click the plus, you will see the sprite, you know, add the sprite here, and it will auto populate in the conversation. So pretty cool. Use gibberish is, you know, basically a type of mumble. So, you know, like how Zelda doesn't really have a language, how The Sims doesn't have a language. It's just, you know, random words or, you know, letters, whatever. You can do that, which is pretty nice. So yeah, let's we have that one, and that's literally all I'm going to do. I'm not going to set up a sprite. I'm not really a big fan of that. And then we're going to create another one. Well, I'm not going to create another one. I already have player. You know, I just showed you how to do it. it's a player, you know, it just has name hero. You can put whatever name you want, and the color is white as well. That's it. Really plain and simple. So now let's select our new mystery woman for this line. And portrait, we can't select it because we didn't add a sprite. If you do have a sprite, you'll find that option here. So yeah, really simple. There's not going to be an action here. Nothing is going to happen with this text. And with settings, you can override with, you know, the configuration, for example, and the skip keys, which is, you know, pretty useful if you want to change that. Right now it's a mouse click. I haven't really thought of what I want to do, but I'm going to set a general for that. So let's do a general option. Actually, didn't think of that the first time, but it's actually useful. So when we go to dialog, we have a couple of options. So we have default dialog skin, and if you installed all of the examples, you'll have a couple of other skins as options as well. They actually behave different as well, so it's not just a color or a image, it's actually different behavior, so it could be pretty cool. Definitely worth checking out. And we have you know, choice opacities and yeah, all of this. The important part here is the skip key. So I'm using, I think, 5 for running, so I'm going to use 5 here as well. Keep at 5 for skipping. So there we go, and that's going to be the default skipping, so I don't have to do that, you know, for as an override. That's just going to be the default. So let's add our next choice here. This is you know, the completion, so the pre-loss step if you want. So thank you, Wanderer. Just had north, and yeah, it's a bit cheesy. We did work for her and she just tells us, you know, just had north, but you know. So we're adding mystery woman. That's nice. If you know, have used a couple of times, you'll see the option there, so that's pretty cool. And same here as for the last one. You know, we'll need to set up a couple of conditions. We'll also need this to be an exit, quite important. And the condition is going to be pretty much the same. So let me actually try and copy that over. I'm going to copy this one and we'll paste it here. But it's just going to be a different stage of the quest. So it will be the finish. So once our quest tells us to go talk to the woman, the mystery woman, this option will be available. And you know, that should supersede anything else except for, you know, once the quest is completed. So let's add our next step, and this will be keep looking. Really plain and simple. You know, she just tells us, you know, keep looking, you're not there yet. We you know, it's not completed. And keep looking is going to be really simple as well, so it will also be an exit. Again, really similar, and the condition is going to be again quest related. So let's copy this over. Slightly different, so it will actually just be if the quest is active. So let's drag in our quest. So if our quest is active, this is what she'll say. So if we actually accepted the quest, you know, if we go back to her before completing anything, she'll just say keep looking. And I think that's pretty nice. I think it's pretty cool. It should be a lowercase though. There we go. And yeah, again, this will be an autoplay. I don't want any player interaction for this. It will be intrusive, it will be annoying. It should just run in the background without, you know, halting the player movement. Now, next up, we're going to actually start with the actual conversation. So that took a while. So, hello, Wanderer. How can I help you? And you can change it around. You can have the player, you know, start the conversation. That's, you know, up to you. And the important thing we're going to do here actually is we're going to change the camera motor. So we need to make a new one. So I'm just going to duplicate the default. We're actually going to completely change it up. So that's going to be fun. So I'm going to use a follow camera. So we'll follow the player. And I'm going to use these values because they worked fine for me. You can play around with this even in runtime, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I like these values. They look pretty decent for me. But if you want something else, you know, play around, see what makes you happy. So that's it. I'm going to call this camera motor convo. And what we're going to do here are actions. So not conditions, actions. There are no conditions here because we don't need any conditions. These will always supersede. So if we already completed this quest, this will supersede anything below it. So we don't need any actions like, you know, quest is not started yet because, you know, it's simply unnecessary. So we have options for execute behavior, quite important as well. So you can choose dialogue before action, action before dialogue, or simultaneous. In this case, I want to use simultaneous. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to, you know, halt player control. I think the focus should just be on the player in this case, on the conversation, sorry about that. So property, player is controllable, is turned off. And we're going to do a change. Always find it faster if I just type in camera. There we go, change camera. Let's drag in convo and do it 1 second. Now I would definitely recommend experimenting with a camera motor that would fit all conversations. Otherwise you'll just end up making a lot of them. You don't have to do that, obviously, you know, it's completely up to you what you want to do. But yeah, it's you know, it's worth looking into at least, because yeah, it's it can be worthwhile. So that's it for this one. Then again, this is the mystery woman. We're going to add a player dialogue and again continue. This will just continue the message. You can run autoplay or, you know, have the player interact. I'm going to let the player interact. And the conversation will be, again, pretty plain and simple. So it will be, hey, I'm lost. I need to find a way to the village. And this is going to be our player. Yay. Again, continue, nothing happens here. Then she will respond to this message. So mystery woman, she'll respond, I'll help you if you help me out first. Yeah, she's you know, selfish. Now you can write a piece of text here as well. I don't want that, I just want a choice here. So I will do player as the actor, but that will just be for the choices. And you can, you know, do a timed choice. And if you've played Mass Effect, for example, a time choice can be interesting. So, you know, if you quickly need to react in a conversation, I got the impression that's where this, you know, this option was from. So I think it's really cool, but it's, you know, it doesn't really fit this specific scenario. So I'm not going to turn that on. And, you know, we have actions, conditions, etc. here as well, but we're not going to use any of those. We're just going to add the choices. So first choice is going to be really simple. Tell me what. And the important thing is this is the choice you choose. So we can actually do this yes, no, just to really show you what I mean. We'll add another one. This will be no. And what they'll actually say in conversation is going to be pretty different. So this will be the actual conversation. Yes, sure, I'll help you out. Tell me what you need. There we go. This will be the player again. And we'll add another one, which is going to be the mystery woman. And thank you. Find me 3 apples and bring them here. Great. Great quest. I'm sure she could do it herself, but she's lazy, so she doesn't want to do anything. And then no, again, player, sorry, I don't have the time. And then again, mystery woman. That's it. So the important thing here is after run exit. And that's it. Nothing else is going to happen here. So this will simply exit the conversation. It will obviously actually change the actions back. I should have thought of that. So let's do that first. So change player is controllable. Let's copy those over. So now he's controllable again, and it will change the camera motor. And there we go. Now this needs to be the default, and that's it. So if we run into her again, because we didn't meet any of these criteria, the default conversation will start again. Now, if you've seen my video on dialogue before, you actually had the option to have different dialogue options for if we've already had a conversation before. So if you want to make this a bit more complex and do that, go ahead. It's actually pretty cool, makes conversation a bit more dynamic, but we're not going to do that in this one. It'll already be long enough with our quests in there. So yeah, that's it. So exit, and we have our actions. So these actions will be slightly different. So this will be an exit as well. And let's actually pick one of those quest condition. Oh no, those were conditions. Sorry about that. So yeah, actions. Let's do. I have no idea what they're called actually. Quest status. There we go. So help the stranger will be active now, and that's quite important. And we actually do need to add something else, and we'll drag that in a bit. We can already set up the actions. So if we go to quest, we're going to quest HUD, and we're going to open it up. And we'll set that up just after this. Then next up, I'm going to duplicate this, and we're going to also turn on, find apples. And we're going to activate find apple 1, 2, and 3. And I should have actually named these. Let me just name these real quick, just to be sure we're actually doing the right ones. So there we go. Okay, so we're clear here. All of these are active. Then next up, we need to also make sure that these actions are copied over. So and there we go. So pretty straightforward so far. And obviously we still need to, set all of these up, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Now for the HUD, I'm going to keep this really simple. I've done UI work so many times already in this series, and if you want to change the look, just change the look. And we're just going to drag this in, user interfaces, And yeah, it's going to be part of that. So that's the quest HUD. And the reason I'm not integrating this in the default HUD is because of the actions, and I really think that's useful. I didn't really do that previously. I always, integrated it in the default HUD, and this time I'm actually not going to do that. Simply because these actions for, being able to open and close the HUD are incredibly useful. I really do like that. So it's basically you're really complicating things if you're going to integrate this, and it will add 0 value. Now if you want to change the look, just open up the prefab and change the look. But yeah, that's so yeah, brief explanation as to why I'm not integrating it. So we're done there. So we've had all of these things set up, and yeah, there's one more action we need to do actually, now that I think of it, and that's going to be quest status. We need to complete the quest. So this was, I'm just thinking, so conditions was quest complete, great. And we're going to complete the main quest. There we go. So this should all be fine. If I made a mistake, we'll find out soon enough. Now, next up, I'm going to drag in some apples. So, apple. And actually going to make things a lot easier. So we set up these pickups before, so pick up sword, bow, fireball spell. I'm actually going to duplicate one of these. So this will be apple 1. Just apple is fine. And we're going to drag that over here. And yeah, for the purpose of this, I'm really going to keep them close. I mean, it's it needs to be rather easy to do this. So there we go. Perfect. So pick up apple. Then we're going to drag in this apple, and this apple was in the fantasy bundle as well, but it's just a prop. You can prefab, you can drag in whatever you want. So there we go. And yay. Now if for some reason this prop is pink in your case, it was for me actually, all you really need to do is change the shader to standard. So shader standard, or if you're using HDRP, URP, whatever, change it to the HDRP, URP equivalent. And changing it to standard was enough for me to, it automatically added the albedo, etc. If you are using URP, HDRP and it doesn't, then you just, need to drag that in. It's just a texture. So cool, we have that. Then let's remove the sword. Going to drag this up, doesn't really matter all that much. And we have a couple of conditions here. Now I do want to actually notice this is not even close to the middle of our pickup. There we go. So I do want there to be a condition that you can't actually pick this up unless the quest is started. So quest status, I'm going to drag in that quest again. Help mystery woman is active, and that will be a condition. So if it's not active, you can't pick it up. Really plain and simple. Then it's not going to, if you want to make an inventory item out of this, go ahead, make an inventory item. I'm not going to do that, as it's not something we'll keep, but if you want to do that, go ahead. And then quest status, quest again, find apple 1 is complete. And yeah, that should actually be it. So let's duplicate this. Put it here, and let's do another one, and we'll put it here. Cool. Now I'm not really sure if the order of this actually matters, so we'll find out soon enough, and if it does, then we'll need to tweak that because it shouldn't. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we've actually done most here. I might have forgotten something, but we'll find out. So let's hit save and let's try this out. So I think she was somewhere there. Yeah, there she is. Maybe she's sitting a bit too close to that campfire. So yeah, here we have our apples, and right now you'll see pick up, but I can't actually pick it up. You can add that to a condition of the activator as well, but you know, so you get how it works, so you can get creative. And here we go, and we're close, but it doesn't actually do anything because we forgot to turn on our dialogue. So quest start, we created the actions, but nothing actually happens here. So let's pick up our dialogue. Where is dialogue? There's already so many different ones. I'm just going to type in dialogue. There we go. So dialogue, and we're going to drag in our dialogue. There we go. Wait till complete. And let's do that again. And let's head over. So hello. Oh yeah, I changed it to 5. That's good to know that it all works. Hey, I'm lost. Blah 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 blah. And it doesn't seem to work with the choices, so that's something we'll still need to change. And sure, again 5, and bring them back. So I'm going to do the correct order first, and I see I forgot the timer on this one as well. So pick up, and as you can see, we have 1 of 3 now. Pick up, and no, that's not working, so that's good to know as well. And pick up, and that's not working either. So a couple of things we need to change. If we do go back to her in the meantime, you know, she does tell us keep looking, and that auto plays. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. So let's make those last changes, and I'm pretty sure I just forgot to change the action here. So yeah, this should be apple 2. And this should be apple 3. Perfect. Now I still do want the last one to actually, you know, auto play. So let me know if you change your mind. It should be autoplay, and this should be autoplay. I don't want any interaction, you know, if the camera already pans out, I just want the player to be able to move on straight away. If you don't want that, if you really do want input, don't use autoplay, but it's not really organic, and not really a big fan of that myself. So let's try this again. And we'll head over. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Okay. And that's the nice thing of the follow camera. As you can see, the effect is actually pretty similar as when we were on the other side of the, you know, of the character, and you know, it is just like this. So you know, I'm pretty happy with the follow. Maybe the angle should be a bit different, but it's a pretty good camera to use. By the way, we can't move now, which is important. Yeah, there's, you know, the input of this one. Okay, tell me what you need, blah blah blah. And now it auto plays, so it's perfect. And I'm actually going to pick up another one first. And yeah, that works. That works. And where's the last one? That works. Now it tells us to talk to the stranger, and she was saying keep looking before, and she's still saying keep looking. So okay, we made a mistake there. That's interesting. So let's try to figure out what is happening here. So thank you. The conditions is set to finish quest complete. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's how it should be. Not really, don't really think I made a mistake here. Oh yes, I did make a mistake. It should be conditions should be active, because we're not completing this quest in this case, and this is so we activating the finish quest. So if we go to finish quest now, once we complete, you know, find all apples, so basically this will be complete, we're activating finish quest. So at the stage that we're walking to her, finish quest is activated. It's not complete. So let's head over. And there we go. Yeah. Cool. And there we go, mission completed. Now by default it will be removed from our HUD, so that's pretty cool as well. And if we go back to her right now, she'll just say that will be all for now, and there's no actual interaction, we can't do anything, but it's still pretty cool that if we actually approach her, she'll say something. You know, if you do one button input, that's you know, that's really easy to do as well. It would work the same as, you know, with the pickups, not really all that different. But personally, I'm more of a fan of this organic way. So yeah, pretty cool. And that will be it for this one. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.